Very good morning. Baie goeiemôre, Molweni Mzansi. Good morning. It's 9 o'clock on a Wednesday. And as per my standing weekly agreement, every single week on a Wednesday, 9 o'clock in the morning, we speak to our family, we speak to our members of the UIM, and everybody that has been following us for the past 2 years. Very good morning. Goeiemôre almal, dit is Woensdag 9 uur. Dit is ons paar minute wat ons saam kan wees, waar ons saam kan praat en waar ons kan praat oor die week wat was en natuurlik die week wat kom, waar u ons vir ons kan vra, where you can ask us any question, where I can interact with you and update you, obviously on some very interesting things. Maar eers goeiemôre Mary, Nico, Corrie, baie goed om julle te sien. Ek sê maar altyd goeiemôre. Rashida, assalamu alaikum. Hope all the best for your Ramadan, Rashida, and that everything is going well with the family. Marilyn, good morning. Marina, goeiemôre aan die familie. Janola, dit is my Griekse boertjie. Good morning, Janola, and thank you every morning for those messages of inspiration. It really counts. Yeah, a little bit groggy today, bietjie griep, maar ons is alright, alles is reg. Nick, good morning, keeping the bluff on the go, very important to us. And hopefully seeing you soon. Cyril Bonzaier, goeiemôre. Helen, very good morning. Andre, Steve, solid rock of our head office. Steve, good morning. Hans Pick, goeiemôre. Goed om julle te sien. Quentin, Anita. Ja, is altyd goed om met julle te kan praat. It's good to interact. It's good to speak to each other. I would like to advise you what's happening on the levels of the UIM. Waar ons staan and what we are doing. Anna, goeiemôre in Springs. Colleen, very good morning. Werner, môre. Hoop is 'n goeie dag. Is 'n bietjie reënerig hierso, maar alles is reg. South Africa, very interesting subject that we're speaking. We're going to speak about, just for a brief moment, about the South African political review. Waar staan ons in die politiek? Political parties, die verskeie bewegings en politieke partye in die land wat nou almal hulle goed doen. Dan wil ek 'n bietjie praat oor geloof. Religion in politics. I think it's very important. And then finally leadership. And then I'd like to take a couple of Q&As. So if you've got a couple of questions for me, post it. I've got people here monitoring the live so that I can make sure that I answer any question, enige vraag wat u wil geantwoord het deur my. Remember those very important email addresses. If you have an email to me, I'm getting back to you. It's been a bit crazy for the past 2 weeks with council budgets of city and state. But today we're going to ensure that we answer most of our admin to yourself. Beverly, good morning from Muizenberg. Good to see you. Marlies, daar sy, welkom. Marlies, dit was jy, daar's jy. Dis Marlies, goeiemôre. Letty van Vereniging, daar's sy. Mense is in die huis. This week we ended what they called the 750 days that this country has been under lockdown. In various phases and in various stages, we had lockdown. En hulle het toe besluit dat na 750 dae, het die president, Suki Cyril, besluit, hulle gaan nou hierdie levels van disaster en al hierdie goeders gaan hulle nou aflas. It's a very good thing that this country is moving and opening as much as possible. But now they're threatening, putting it to us in a very obscure manner, that they're going to move the regulations to control COVID to the Department of Health, and there they will issue some laws that will still control their control over citizens. En ek het baie vrae gekry hierdie week oor hierdie WhatsApps wat deurgaan oor die mense wat sê, maar die staat gaan dit nou drakonies deurdruk om te sê dat hulle kan jou laat toesluit as jy nie wil isolate nie en sovoorts en sovoorts. Daar's baie experts op hierdie. I think it is very clear that the stance of the UIM will remain steadfast and unambiguous. Ons gaan nie twee kante van die storie kies nie. Ons storie is baie simpel. Daar sal nooit deur ons of enige ander groepering wat by ons staan en by wie ons staan soos die ACDP op hierdie oomblik, dat enige persoon in hierdie land geforceer moet word om gevaksineer te word nie. En dat geen persoon vir iemand anders te kan kritiseer as hy wil gevaksineer word nie. Familie, ons moet kyk, vriende, ons moet kyk. We must really look at ourselves and say to ourselves, what is a democracy? A democracy allows us to be governed freely, to express ourselves freely, to say what we want freely, and to live in the boundaries of law, but freely. Good morning, my Vice President, Fatima Abdul, good to see you, always beautiful, altyd by my, goed om u te sien. Fatima, een van die persone, my visiepresident, wat ook beklei in die linies, om seker te maak dat jou menseregte 100% beskerm word. We will not ever allow our state to draconianly enforce us to surrender our free mandate on our own bodies. That will draw the line. So that was the big news. He could have WhatsApped it because nothing else was said. And where we stand today, the question I want to ask is not what are we going to do about the past 750 days. What I would like to know is what are we going to do for the next 750 days so that we can actually recoup all the losses that small businesses had. Nou, dit is vir my die ding wat verregaande is dat hy net praat as 'n leier in hierdie land, kom praat hy net oor die vaksin, en hy kom praat net oor COVID. The president does not come on board, get on television, and have a weekly or a bi-weekly update to tell us what is he doing about the arrest of the Zondo Commission. Now, I want to talk about the South African political information and detail that you need. So here's it very importantly. And you are right. The pensioners of this country, the people that are the vulnerable, the people that need healthcare, those are the people that the president in actual fact must address. But he just addresses the fact of COVID and vaccine. And that is a clear indication where his priorities are lying right now. So the African National Congress, the ANC, at this current moment is burning. En dit is gesê deur hulle eie leier en president, Cyril Ramaphosa, het dit self gesê hierdie week. Waar hy uitdruklik gesê het dat die ANC is soos 'n huis wat brand. The ANC is like a house that's burning. What he didn't tell you is that the house is burning. There's no water because the pumps aren't working. The electricity is cut because of Eskom. There's no fire brigade because they haven't paid probably their staff and the municipalities are in absolute disarray. They don't and have no capacity of leadership on that level. So hierdie huis, as jy die analogie volg, gaan aanhou brand. There is no way that the ANC in a clear democratic way is going to survive the election in 2024 at the rate they're going now. En nou raak hulle desperaat. So if you look at the cabal, the ANC, the EFF, COSATU, the South African Communist Party, and now it's heard that not only can the ANC not pay their staff, the ANC cannot pay their debt to SARS, but now we hear that the South African Communist Party, that was supposed to be diluted when the big wall came down in Germany, niks, SA communiste, hulle hardloop nog steeds rond en dink dat communisme is lewendig. Dit is nou dat al die ander communistiese lande absoluut platgeval het. Maar ons Suid-Afrikaanse Kommuniste Party kan nie eens hulle eie staf betaal nie. Where is this going? So in the tripartite agreement between the ANC, the SACP and COSATU, 2 of the 3 can't pay salaries. Now, when you look at that in a political landscape, You have the continual fight of the DA to try and make a noise, but when they in actual fact all stood together and said that they're actually a 20% cap party. Het jy gehoor? The political layout of this country is that the ANC, without a doubt, is suffering, and they are going to have a massive loss in 2024. But because they want to still eat from the gazelle, because they still want to rape and pillage the country, they will have to then formulate a partnership. Hulle moet met iemand partner. And it's very clear where this is going. You can make those dots yourself. We then have to look at all the other political parties in this country. And we've got to look at the smaller ones like the Freedom Front Plus that claim they're big, but they're not. They just got to move because the people went ultra-right. The people that scored in the last election weren't parties that were growing. They were parties that were shifting. And at this current moment in time, there is time for new blood. Dit is tyd vir 'n nuwe tyd. En ons sit hierso en ons sit 18 maande oor Suid-Afrika voor daar 6 maande is voor die verkiesing in 2024. So what are we going to do? We are going to have to stand back, look at the smaller parties like the UIM, who said you were small, you were insignificant, but you won in 3 metros, you won representation. 4, actually, if you look at the one that was taken from us. Now, the absolute political climate in this country is one of absolute chaos. En ons kyk na groepe soos AfriForum, Solidariteit, en nou kyk ons ewe skielik in Kaapstad waar hulle nou 'n AfriForum wil stig, maar vir die kledinggemeenskap. Dis die verkeerste ding wat jy kan doen. Because again, what you are doing, although you are trying to give a voice, you are trying to give a voice for a segment of the population that needs a national voice. And that's why we are sitting where we are today. You are sitting with a UIM that come from normal people that are not politicians, and dit is hoekom die mense my volg. Die mense volg my, want inteendeel ek is nie 'n politikus nie. En as ek wil sit in 'n raadsaal en ek raak moerig, dan gaan ek dit vir die ou sê op rekord, soos ek gedoen het laas week. Suid-Afrika, ons moet 'n bietjie wegbeweeg van hierdie inherente politiese korrektheid. It's because we are trying to be politically correct that we're getting everything not correct. Because the political climate in this country is absolutely not giving hope to the citizens of this country. Ons kan maar sê wat ons wil. Ons kan hierdie zebra, watter kleur probeer verf, hy gaan altyd swart en wit terugkom. And that's why the political system in this country needs to be challenged by a new blood, a new group, a new leadership that is going to take this bull by the horn, that will slay this dragon of the people that are trying to currently oppress and suppress the minorities in this country. And that's why dit is hoekom die politieke stelsel in hierdie land moet verseker. We must make sure that the white population, the colored and the Indian population are not disregarded of your race. En nou wil ek praat oor volksreg. Suid-Afrika, ons moet begin wegbeweeg om elke keer as die Afrikaner volk, as die Zulu volk, as die Khoisan, as hierdie volkere opstaan en hulle wil hulle Afrikaanse taal, hulle kultuur, hulle geskiedenis en hulle militêre geskiedenis probeer vereenselwig onder hulle eie volksreg, maar hulle word dan gesê, maar jy's rassisties. Nou, hoe die hel kan jy rassisties voorkom as jy jou geskiedenis van 300-400 jaar op hierdie oomblik op 'n plek wil sit waar dit beskerm moet word? South Africa, I go back to what I said. The only way that this country actually can function is if we bring in a federal state. Now, this is not the first time that we have said this. We are a diverse nation, And this diverse nation has come to the point where it's recognizing and must recognize its diversity, but understand that we can actually speak unity amongst each other. Ons moet begin reguit praat. And the only way to speak is to say that this country, under the management of this government, is collapsed. And now I see everybody using the thing that I started to use 2 months ago, called the failed state. The failed state. Ek sien almal gebruik dit nou. South Africa, I have been around government, and I've been around the ANC. They are busy burning. But while they're burning, they're taking the country down with us. What do we need to do is we need to say to each other that no political party actually in this country should get more than 51% of the vote. Why? Well, they've had that opportunity. And the opposition parties have had their opportunity. What we as the UIM are asking is, in this political system, that this party that you have watched, that you have followed, that you have seen, does things. In the small capacity, in die klein manier wat ons kan, met die geld wat ons het, met die supporters wat ons het, probeer ons nasionaal groei. Want die UIM het 'n besluit geneem. En dit is ons praat reguit. We'll talk straight. We won't go around curbs. We will call it like it is, and we will make sure that the things that we are dedicated to are actually done in the capacity where we are. The political framework in this country is not going well. En dit is hoekom op die einde van die dag ons nou moet begin werk. Suid-Afrika, ons moet begin werk sodat in 18 maande van nou in 2024 ons reg is. But we've got to start looking at a different political system. The system we are following today is wrong. The political parties in this country, the new kids on the block, they are all trying to do certain things, but they're not getting it right. I'm going to talk about this thing now that has popped out, hierdie nuwe ding about xenophobia. Now, this is not right. It's not xenophobia in the sense of what we're speaking about. We are saying dit is te laat om nou te kom klaar om te sê dat daar nou mense is van ander lande wat nie hier mag wees nie. You should have stopped them when you had the opportunity at the bloody border. The border is the issue. It's not the people coming in. You are not capable to stop the illegal foreigners from entering our border. Therefore, if we are governing, therefore if the UIM had to say, we'll shut it. We will shut it and we will put control systems there that you cannot penetrate this border, but you will have to come through the legal manner. Dit is die wet. That's the law. Daar's nie 'n debat nie. Ek sien nou daar's mense wat debatteer oor hulle het menseregte en julle moet een ding verstaan, Suid-Afrika. Die meerderheid van die mense op hierdie oomblik wat gevang word met AK's, wat die mense skiet, wat ons kabel steel, kom nie van hierdie land af nie. Hulle kom nie van hierdie land af nie. We have proof. So I am not even going to get into a debate about what is our opinion about illegal foreigners in this country. Hulle moet opgetel word en hulle moet geskuif word. Maar dit help nie, ons skuif hulle en dan elke liewe keer laat ons hulle deur die grenspos of deur die rivier swem nie. Ek sê kop vir hulle. En ons moet ons weermag miskien opdateer, dat ons weermag nie rondgehardloop moet word om COVID uit te sorteer nie, maar dat hierdie weermag miskien op hierdie oomblik grens toe gestuur word. Want miskien kan hulle daarso probeer help en 'n bietjie oefening kry, né? Want dit is tog op die einde van die dag hoe jy 'n weermag altyd op gereedheid hou. En dit is laat hulle werk. The question that we've got to ask ourselves is, after this great promise en hierdie groot beloftes wat gemaak is deur die DA en al hulle ander besinne, en ons het vir hulle gestem, vir die ANC en die EFF kabaal wat nou wil rondhardloop, ek kom nou by hulle, probeer hulle nou vir ons probeer sê dat hulle nog steeds die politieke party is waarvoor ons moet stem. Suid-Afrika, the UIM is coming, and the UIM has done more in actual fact in its wards and its areas than what you have ever done. We speak the truth, and we need to follow through that truth. Ons het nie mense nodig met net doktersgrade nie. Ons het mense nodig met 'n ruggraat. En op hierdie oomblik sien ek geen ander party dit doen nie. Ja, hulle probeer, maar hulle probeer dit polities korrek doen. Ons gaan nie daarvoor staan nie. Suid-Afrika, dis tyd vir 'n nuwe stelsel. Hoe lank sit ons al en ons sê, ons moet 'n nuwe stelsel kry? Want die stelsel wat ons nou vir 30 jaar het werk nie. I also call for the change of the review of the Constitution so that we can make sure that the laws of this country at the end of the day protect the citizens. Yes, I'm calling for a review of the current Constitution that was written 30 years ago with massive human rights in its opinion, but we gave the people in this country so many human rights that currently the prisoners are actually having more rights than me and you. Now, I'm not going to get into a debate. All I'm telling you at this moment in time is that the criminals in this country at this current moment rule this country. I've said it and I'm saying it again. It's a failed state. Hierdie staat het verval. En die rede hoekom ek dit sê, is omdat al die infrastruktuur op hierdie oomblik uitmekaar uitval. Ons stelsel op hierdie oomblik vir onderwys, verskoon tog, is nie reg nie. Ons kinders kry nie wat hulle wil hê nie. En op die einde van die dag, waar is ons? Where are we? Well, I'll tell you where we are. We are ready to change government. We are ready to change government. And the only way that we can change government is if we start talking straight to each other, start telling the truth, and not running around. Sorry, ek het maar 'n bietjie verkoue. En dan praat ons met mekaar oor geloof en politiek. We talk about this thing, religion and politics. South Africa, I'm sorry, but if there was ever a time that we needed the factual light of God, the guidance of the Holy Father, and the understanding of that God's wisdom, it's now. So when people say, how do you mix religion and politics, it's very easy. God is the ultimate politician. That's right. God and the Holy Trinity of this world is the guiding light of what is just and what is unjust. You see, you don't have to bring religion into politics if you're already spiritually in faith. I'll say that again. Jy hoef nie te debatteer oor geloof in politiek nie. Want as jy klare gelowige is jy klaar in politiek. Want wat is politiek? Politics has become an ugly matter. When you say you're a politician or you talk politics, people cringe. They don't see it as something to be proud about. We did that. We did that to politics. We took politicians, saw what they are doing, and politicians currently ruined it for us. But we can't walk away from politics. And I'll tell you why. Politics is how you change the country. But religion, your faith in God, gives you the actual guts. It gives you the energy, and it gives you that solid rock that you can do it. That's my explanation. So when I sit and we talk about the glory of God, and the energy that it gives me, even if I'm ill and sick and tired, it is through Him. It is through that light, it's through prayer, and it is the system where we can get up. So therefore we said that the UIM is not a faith-based party, but we're a party in faith. Sorry. Ek gaan dit maak. At this current moment in time, we've pushed God, we've pushed our faith out of society. And that's exactly where we need to go back to. Because at the end of the day, what is a family, what is a soul, and what is a country, and what is a continent without faith? So we've got to change it, Rosie. We've got to make sure that the politicians of the future are the politicians of trust. And the only way to do that is to totally reset, restart, rejuvenate. And that's what we need to do. South Africa leadership is where we stand today, where we look at every single aspect of this country. Die mense praat aan mekaar oor revolusie. Ons praat oor oorlog. Ons praat oor looting. Ons praat oor Desember laas jaar. Ons praat oor moorde wat op hierdie oomblik nog steeds plaasvind op plase. Oor een van die dodelikste maande in die Weskaap. Oor 'n 16-jarige, 15-jarige kind wat eergisterand doodgeskiet is. Ons praat oor kinders en vrouens wat voor groot mans vermoor word en ons kan niks daaromtrent doen. Ons kan daaromtrent iets doen. We can. We can do something about it. And it starts with leadership. Dit begin met leierskap. You see, if this president wants to be a leader, then this president will leave his office and he will spend the majority of his time in the street. You see, only then will this president realize what truly we are saying. Now, we've been asking you to help us. We've been asking you to climb on board because Neil de Beer needs to go on tour. We need to come and see you. But to do that, we need your help. We can't do this on our own. It's not possible. U sien, alles wat ons vir u sê, everything that we are telling you, you know it. The difference, though, is we need leadership. We have no leadership in this country. I'm sorry. And the leadership that we've got at this current moment in time is not good enough. So the questions that we are asking, every single day, the questions that we get. Tonight we will have an NEC. Our national executive sits every single week. 7 o'clock until 8 o'clock. Sometimes we go until 10 on a Wednesday night. Why? Well, so that we can support. We've got our leadership. We've got great leaders. We've got Diane sitting in the Southern Cape, Cherise in George, Umkali and Eugene and Mpumalanga. We're sitting with Almarie and her group, Chris and the gentleman that sits all over the leadership within Bloemfontein. We've got Isaac and his team sitting in Kabega in Port Elizabeth. We've got Marlize, Monia de Beer. We've got Zenda. We've got our whole team that sits with Fatima and our vice presidency. We sit with them and Kurt, our youth leader. We sit with Shafiq and Gino and Melissa, Pat. We sit with all of these people sitting in their conclaves trying to assist. We sit with good people in the UIM, and those good people at the end of the day, backed by our head office with Stephen and Cindy and Jacques, our SG, every single day fighting to get somewhere. And we're doing it for you. We're not doing it for ourselves. So I'm asking at the end of the day that you open your mind to understand where this country is today. And you are very, 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 very right, Hercules. A leader is a servant. A leader is a servant. You must serve. En op die einde van die dag moet jy jou mense dien. You've got to go back to the ground. And when you go back to the ground, this is where we solve the problems of South Africa. South Africa's problems can be solved by South Africans, not by foreigners. Ons kan ons probleme uitsorteer. Maar as ons nie hierdie rassehaat hierdie rasse verdeeldheid uit ons uitkry nie. Dit gaan nooit weg wees nie. Suid-Afrika, kom ons praat gou reguit man. We will never be able to cross and kill the fact of racism in the world. As enige iemand vir julle sê, kom ons vat rasisme weg, you're living in a dream world. Because racism doesn't have a South African trademark. Rasisme het nie in hierdie land begin nie. It's not ours. It's not ours. The real problem of the world is racism in itself. And we as South Africans, we can work towards making sure that although these divisions are amongst us, although we fear, although the current leadership in this country has totally draconianly taken this country and smashed it, we can build it back up again. But we need leadership. What kind of leadership do we have? A leadership that allows theft, a leadership that gives no hope, 'n leierskap wat op hierdie oomblik nie sy eie mense ken of op die grond was om sy mense te ken nie. En dit is nie leierskap nie. So, Suid-Afrika, ons moet opstaan. Ons moet uit hierdie hele situasie beweeg. Van donkerte. And here's the thing. It is up to us. Maak nie saak hoe ek voel nie. Doesn't matter how difficult it is. But when we get up, we fight. Ja, Lenet, many people are fighting. And I recognize every single day the people that are here and there. And therefore, I think at the end of the day, we are the difference. And I'm asking you to stand with us. We've got to rise. And when we get up as a nation, and every day we pray and work, 2024 will be the change of this country. Because in 2024, we are not going to vote to change a country. We are going to vote to save a country. And this is important for us. So we've got to unite. Kom ons staan saam, South Africa. I want to thank you every single time giving me the opportunity for speaking to you about things that are important to us. And you are right, Gino, our great man, Gino from the Western Cape on our REC. Racism is used by politicians so that they can keep us apart. And we can't allow that any further. The two largest problems in this country at this moment in time is crime and poverty. There are many others. But if we don't beat crime and we don't beat poverty, then we have no solution for the future. So let's get up and do our daily work, say our daily prayer, and stand together. And remember, help your neighbor. Because if every neighbor helped another neighbor, no one actually would need help. So Suid-Afrika, my boodskap vandag is kyk na die politieke stelsel en maak u self reg vir verandering. Daai verandering moet nou kom. Ons moet na onsself kyk, ons moet na ons eie volkere reg kyk, ons moet kyk na ons eie families, maar op die einde van die dag moet ons ook kyk na ons land. En dit is belangrik. Our future and our children's future lies with us. I also would like to end off by just saying a word of prayer, a word of condolence to our ex-Springbok coach, Peter de Villiers. As you all know, I was in Peter de Villiers' team's management when we were in the SA Under-21 team. And I would like to just on behalf of myself, my family, all the UIM in South Africa say to Peter de Villiers, we are very saddened by the loss of your wife, the beautiful Teresa, this week. And may God's massive hand of strength, support, and love be over you and your family. And to everybody else that have lost and that have lost family, our hearts go out to you as well. But in specific, this week to Peter de Villiers. Peter, byt vas. God's love is beyond anything. So from all of us, keep well. For the rest of us, I hope to see you next week, Wednesday, where we have a live session with myself and the Vice President. Ek gaan nou nog omkoop met 'n chocolate, Fatima. So next week, we're going to do a different Wednesday. We're going to have a live with myself and the Vice President, and then vice versa on the Thursday, hopefully, as well. So look forward to next week's very important dual live with me and the Vice President, where we are going to sit on that panel, me and her, to talk to you, answer questions, and talk a little bit between ourselves about the UIM and going forward. Remember those emails. Remember to send us and help us if you can help with donations for our tour. The donate details are at the bottom. You've got those banking details. Kyk of ons kan help. Ons wil 'n bietjie gaan toere met u praat. Vir die res van die week en die dag, Here seën julle. May God bless you and look after yourselves. I hope that you have a great, great day. Remember, South Africa first, but God number one. Kom ons kyk na ons land. Love each other like we should and be truly South African. Bye-bye.